I mean, let's get right to it. It's about to be a very busy month at light heavyweight. Is there more pressure to go out there and really get one of those signature finishes so you could be in the conversation?
Yeah, there is, and fortunately for me, I tend to perform better when there's a lot of pressure on. Uh, Obviously, I would love to get that John fight back. So this is kind of a double-edged sword. It definitely opens up a lot of parity and fun conversations and different matchups, and brings a little bit more excitement to the division. But let's not forget that it's bringing more excitement to the division because there's a lot more unknown. Jon Jones kind of was the staple in the division, and people just assumed he was always going to win. So unfortunately, it gets more exciting when nobody knows really who's going to win.
For sure, I understand that. I want to shift gears. On top of fighting and working as an analyst, I know that you're kicking off your new podcast with Laura Senko. Can you just talk about what it's like to have that platform and work on a program like that with a mind like her?
It's been amazing, man. We kind of got backed up a little bit just with her busy schedule and then me taking this fight. So we're gonna be firing that back up as soon as I'm done here. But it's been fun. I've known Laura for a long time. We kind of came up in the same scene together. A lot of the fans and stuff that don't know, but Laura was quite the fighter herself in her fighting days. So we're both Midwest fighters. We grew up a couple hours from each other. And she's got an incredible mind for the sport. She's really really good at what she does. She's a great reporter, but she's also a good host. She directs the conversation really well and keeps me on track. Sometimes I have a bad habit of rambling and bouncing from topic to topic, so she does a good job of keeping a leash on me and keeping me focused. And yeah, it's along with being an analyst and fighting it's going to be kind of cool to kind of build my own baby, all by myself, and just her and I building something that's just ours. And it's fun. There's less direction. We can kind of take it where we want. If there's not a lot of fight stuff to talk about, we can ramble about mom and dad life and families and just funny stuff that I think that a lot of people want to get a perspective on that we don't typically get to give. Working as analysts or reporters, like sometimes people are just curious what we do day to day. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Looking forward to hearing even more coming soon. To get back to the division, Aleksander Rakic, a tough guy. A lot of people feel like he should still be on his win streak. What does he bring that makes him so dangerous?
He's got a couple things that make him pretty dangerous. I think for me, the thing that makes him most dangerous are his intangibles. He really believes in himself. He's confident. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He believes in his power, and he really believes that he's the future of the division. Now, whether that's true or not, I mean, we'll find out on Saturday. But um, the fact that he believes it makes him dangerous. You couple all that stuff with his incredible knockout power, his ability to close distance with his kicks. He can fight from both stances. He's an incredible athlete. He's well conditioned. He's not completely a fish out of the water on the ground. Um, so he brings a lot of interesting stuff to the table.
Finally, talking about the title picture, I think a lot of people see it as the upcoming fight, Santos versus Glover. Probably that one gets the next top content, no, the next shot at the title. For yourself, do you see yourself fighting another one of these guys before getting back to the belt if you win on Saturday?
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. I would think it's going to take me no more than two. Uh, Rakic and one more. But if Glover and Tiago get into a snooze fest, or the winner gets injured, or something like that, it really depends on who wins that fight. If Glover wins that fight, if I'm being very honest with you guys, I will sit down and shut up and wait my turn, and go do what I got to do to get my title shot. You won't hear a lot from me arguing about getting a shot over Glover, not just because he just beat me, but just he's done enough. He's done enough. So I'll keep my loud mouth shut. If it's Tiago, then there's a small argument there. I would have more wins than he had since his title fight. He would also argue that he won that fight. I have the more high profile win that's also a finish, would be over Alexander Gustafsson. But I also had the hiccup with the Glover fight. But Who knows? Who knows? If it's Thiago, there's a somewhat of an argument there. If it's Glover, I'll sit down and shut up.
Appreciate it, Anthony. Good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll take our next set of questions from Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA.
Hi, Anthony. How are you?
I'm good.
My first question is, this will be your second fight during the pandemic, but the first one in the Apex. What do you think about the smaller octagon? Is something that you take into account when you make your fight plan?
No, not at all. I know for a lot of guys, the smaller cage does make a difference, and I can absolutely see how that's the case. But I've actually fought in smaller cages than the one that's in the Apex before. So I think a smaller cage benefits me anyways. I'm kind of the in your face, walk you down, get dirty type of fighter. So the shorter the distance I got to go, the better for me. He's the one that wants to stay long and fight from the outside and be rangy. And so if there is a benefit or a disadvantage in the smaller cage, I'm definitely the one that will benefit.
And Anthony, which aspects do you consider are going to be the key for winning?
Without getting too much into my game plan, it's just being technically sound and not losing my temper. That's sometimes what gets me into trouble a little bit. I get a little bit angry, and it's about the only aspect of my life that I do lose my temper. It's all anyone can do to even get me frustrated in regular day-to-day life. I'm just usually a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, but for whatever reason, I have kind of a hair trigger when it comes to controlling my temper in the octagon. So I just got to stay technical and stay focused. I think with a guy like Aleksander Rakic being so dangerous, it makes it a lot easier to stay focused the whole time because you can't make any mistakes with a guy like that. So that's really what it comes down to. Just just being myself and being technical and just not making any mistakes and staying focused for 15 minutes.
And is there anything that you need to be careful of?
Yeah, I probably should let him knock me out. That's probably the biggest. That's probably the biggest thing. He's powerful, so I got to make sure I'm not taking too many clean shots.
Okay, and Anthony, I want to ask you, how was your preparation after your last fight, after that loss? How did you prepare for this one? Not only physically, but also mentally. What about that process?
Well, I was able to go back to Denver and do my entire training camp there, and get back to where I'm the most successful. I wasn't able to do that in the last fight because of the pandemic, so I'm back there and really mentally, it's spending all those weeks away from home and with Mark Montoya. It's the best thing for my mentality. That guy's just he's like my Yoda. He just has such a good perspective on life, and he can tell when I'm having an off day. He can tell when my mind is somewhere else. He can tell when something's bothering me, and then we just work through it. Mark is a mentor and a father figure to me. That's helped a lot, and just really sometimes you just got to work that out in your head. You got to figure it out on your own. So I'm mentally, emotionally, and physically in a better spot than I've been in a really long time. I'm well rested. I'm healthy. I'm really happy. Life is going well. My family's safe. My family's healthy. My kids are funny. My wife is doing her thing. Everybody's in a good place, and that's not something I can necessarily say going into the last fight.
Great to hear that. And talking about the division, were you surprised when you heard that Jon Jones was vacating the title?
Yeah, I was. Jon Jones is kind of one of those guys, when he gets something, you're going to have to peel it out of his cold, dead hands to get it back from him, which is the mentality that makes him so great. Once he's got something, it's his, and you're gonna have to take it from him. So that was a cool look into where Jon Jones is at personally, where he was willing to make the type of decision that doesn't necessarily benefit him that much, and it does benefit a lot of other people. I'm not typically the guy that's got a whole bunch of nice things to say about Jon Jones, but that's a noble thing to do, and he could have held on to that title for a long time and gone up to heavyweight and done his thing, and talked about coming back down and not coming back down and drag everybody out for a long time. But he didn't do that. So, it was a surprise to me, and I think that says a lot of positive things about where Jon Jones is right now in his life, and it was a cool thing.
And how do you think he will do in at heavyweights?
Well, Jon Jones is the best in the world, man, and that's not just in my weight class. That's across all weight classes. I think there's some interesting challenges that are at heavyweight for him. Aside from the top three guys, maybe. I think Jon Jones does whatever he wants to any other heavyweight in the division. I think, your guys like Francis Ngannou, Curtis Blades, Stipe. I think those guys create some interesting problems for him. Just some of them in size, some of them in power and mobility. So some of them in just their body types, and some of them in their skills. And I think those three guys create some interesting problems for him. But I'm not. Jon Jones can beat any of those guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony, and good luck on Saturday.
You're welcome.
And we will take our next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay too. Thanks for asking. The first thing I want to ask is, you're coming from a hard defeat from Glover Teixeira, and what you learned from that fight?
That's kind of an open-ended question. But I got to stay focused. I guess if that's the one thing I would take from that, I got to do a better job of staying focused and not making silly mistakes.
Okay, what do you consider Rakic's main strengths?
His main strengths?
Yes.
I would say his size, and his mobility and power. He moves like a middleweight, but he's every bit of a light heavyweight as you can get, and he's extremely powerful. Those are the top three things that make him dangerous.
Okay, and with Jon leaving the category, where do you think a victory over Rakic puts you in?
It puts me in a good spot. It puts me in a position to get into a number one contender fight. If it's extremely impressive, and something, some crazy stuff happens in the other fight that's going on, I think it possibly puts me in title contention. But likely gets me another main event, in an opportunity to fight for a title.
And do you think your experience will play a role in getting the victory?
Yeah, absolutely. I got more knockouts than Aleksander Rakic has fights total. So you're not going to show me anything that I haven't seen. He doesn't bring anything new to the table. He's not super flashy. He's not fancy. He's not super tricky. But that's not saying he's not dangerous. So on my end of it, I need to be smart and use my experience and know that I have made those mistakes before, and get caught up playing games. And you know what they say, you play dumb games, you get dumb prizes. So I just need to stay smart. But as far as experience goes, I think that that's absolutely an advantage. Okay,
I get it. And what's your prediction for the fight on Saturday and for the title fight again between Dom Reyes and Jan Blachowicz?
I've been kind of saying this all week. I'm kind of feeling like there's going to be an upset here. I feel like Jan Blachowicz is going to get it done. I like the way those two guys match up. I haven't broken them down, super deep yet, and really seen what that's going to look like. But just from the outside looking in, just really, in a shallow way, I just like how they match up as far as Jan being. He's really tight and fundamental, and he likes to fight at boxing range. And Dominic Reyes does a really good job when he can keep people at kicking range. And other than the Weidman knockout, it does seem like Reyes doesn't do that well fighting backing up. So Blachowicz is absolutely going to make him back up. That's just his style. He's better on the ground, I think, and I think he's the better wrestler. As far as the prediction for my fight, was that the question?
Yes.
That also I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways it could go, but I would imagine that we're going to end up kind of playing that that whose ego is bigger game, and I'm not going to get caught up into that. So, honestly, I don't know. I see myself winning a couple different ways. I just don't know which way it's going to be.
Fair play. Thank you very much, Anthony, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anthony. That is all the time we had for you, sir.